We're going to do something a little bit different today on our Bellingham and Whatcom County home tour. We are going to go take a look at a fixer-upper, but not just any fixer-upper. This is $1 million fixer-upper, just south of Bellingham, still a Bellingham address, on the famous Lake Samish. So drive with me as we go take a peek at what does $1 million fixer-upper on the lake look like in Bellingham, Washington. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go take a peek. So what does a $1.2 million fixer-upper on Bellingham's southernmost lake, Lake Samish, look like, sitting on 72 feet of low bank waterfront? 1.2 million, built in the early 80s, I believe 1982, 3-bedroom, no low bank waterfront at 1.2 million. Let's go take a peek. Let's see what this is all about. You let me know in the comments below at the end. What do you think of the price? What do you think of the location? What do you think the house and the potential vision with this home? Okay, so welcome to 859 East Lake Samish. Here, literally on the lake, 72 feet of low bank waterfront. We're sitting here, a little bit of a steep drive, but it's super easy to navigate. You might hear some sound behind me. What is that? Well, that is I-5. And I'll maybe throw in a Google map above. When you are on the east side of Lake Samish, you do have I-5 directly behind you. So things to pay attention to. Obviously, we're at the front of the house. We're going to pay attention to the sounds once we get inside. And then once we get on the lake, you can see the lake there in the background. It's a beautiful day here in Bellingham. So this is $1.2 million. It's sitting on 0.6 of an acre. Huge lot. I know I've mentioned it. I'll continue to mention it. 72 feet of waterfront. This was built in 1982, 3 bedrooms. And it's a fixer. So you've got to take this into account. You got to see past it. You got to see the vision and see where the value is. The first thing I'll note, it's noted in the listing description by my good friend who is listing the property. The roof is done. It's toast. You can see the algae buildup. I'm going to show you inside. So you've got to go into it. This roof, I'm going to estimate minimum $25,000. We're just going to call it what it is. Obviously, we've got some deferred maintenance here in the garage. But wait, I mean, there is huge potential here. Cool entry. Again, totally typical of kind of that 80s style. You're going to see it. I love this, actually. I love all the wood. So you come in here. We're at the front entrance. Everything's oriented towards the lake. I say that and you would think that that's normal, but you look at some of the turn-of-the-century homes, let's say on South Hill in Bellingham, they weren't, and they're facing the bay, and they weren't oriented really very well, most of them, unless they've been remodeled towards the bay. Everything's oriented. You've got these massive slider over here in, I'm going to call this your family room. A secondary slider here off of your dining area, and then again here in the kitchen. So let's start here. We walk in, we immediately have a powder room here with a pocket door. We're going to go back here in a second because that's a highlight, I believe. Beautiful stairwell. Again, all the wood accents are just awesome. Let's take a right here and let's go into the kitchen. Again, dated for the 80s, but livable in terms of the dating. I'm going to show you some things that obviously are in a little bit of disrepair, but I think the potential here is pretty awesome. Tons of storage back here, little pantry area. You got your stove. So all the appliances are, my guess is original, but then you've got a third slider here right off the kitchen and out onto the lake, which we're gonna save that for last. Got this cool breakfast bar pass through into the dining room and family room. We got another breakfast bar right here. Laundry here. Now don't forget, there's the pass-through from the powder room. I'm gonna save what's back there for last. Well, maybe not last, but close to last. Here we are in the dining room. There's that kitchen pass-through. We're gonna go out on the deck shortly. So just that cool vintage 80s style. But you've got a house that's been more than just a little bit of deferred maintenance. So you've obviously got to take that into account. 3 awesome skylights. Beautiful, beautiful tongue and groove ceiling. Have the typical of the era, a little step down into this family room area, and then you come up here and you've like got it's just an extension, but this secondary kind of living space. This door just goes to the outside, the side of the property, nothing fancy there. Cool wood stove. Check this out. Now, if this doesn't reek of the 80s, a little bar here. You got the mirrors. We can step back here and imagine serving your family members their beverage before they head out on the lake. Now, again, deferred maintenance. We know the roof's an issue, and you can see things like this. So this house is offered as is. You've got to take that into account. If you come out here with myself or your agent, bring your contractor. You are paying for the land and the setting. Hopefully, I would hope that somebody could say they could make this house work, because I just think the vintage and the era and the style, you're not going to build this again. We are so close to the lake. A little, well, we'll hold off on what I can tell you about the lake. So you got this little perch overlooking downstairs. You gotta watch out for that light when you walk up. Even us short guys. You come in here, let's just hit it now. Okay, are you ready? This is total 80s. You gotta love it. I grew up in an 80s house, and I will tell you, yes, we had carpet leading up to, ours was more of a hot tub style. This is pretty shallow, but tons of room, dual vanity, toilets right around the corner, all sorts of potential here. We have our first smaller bedroom. We'll go to the second smaller bedroom right here across the hallway. This one's on the lakeside with a deck out there. Then we're going to go into the primary. So all 3 bedrooms are upstairs. Large primary. Overlooking the lake. Another slider. I'm going to talk about this tree when we get outside. Great potential for that. My guess is could come down, even being in the Lake Samish watershed and opening up this view of the lake. We're closer to the northern tip of the lake. It goes out around the corner, kind of almost in a kidney bean shape. This is looking north up towards the Chuckanut Mountains. Blanchard Mountains is down there. We'll point that out when we get outside. Huge closet. It is. It's funny. It's a slide-in closet, but it's big enough to be a walk-in. Now, your primary bathroom. This is where you're going to see some of why it is as is. More than just deferred maintenance. You've got to look past it and look at the potential. So there are issues. There's just no doubt about it. I know we got water stains on it. I mean, that's typical, right? But nice thing about the wood is you can tell, that it was here. So the roof has got to be addressed immediately, in my opinion. But again, at least something like that, what you're getting yourself into. When you go into a home that's as is or has repairs, you want to know ahead of time at least as many of the big items. Things are going to pop up that maybe you didn't know about. That's any home. But if you can come into it with your eyes wide open, with as many of the big ticket items, and you can put that into your pricing strategy and your remodel. Again, as is, you're most likely going to need to be all cash on this home or a rehab loan, a conventional loan that's not rehab, VA, FHA. It's not going to happen. You're just not going to be able to do that. So all cash, or probably a good potential that you could get a rehab loan, and build that into your price. So here, a massive deck. This is the tree I was talking about. You take this out and it really opens it up. Now, it has a dock. There's the other issue. Now, I look at it as great potential. Getting a dock on Lake Samish, Lake Whatcom can be a bit of a chore, because about 95%, so most of you guys know, like I've shown you homes on Lake Whatcom before, in the Lake Whatcom watershed, and that is not only our primary water source for drinking water, household water for Bellingham, but it's also recreational. The same goes here on Lake Samish. About 95% of the homes pull water from the lake, but it's also a great recreational lake, known for its, wakeboarding, sea-doos, fishing. In fact, you probably can't see it off there in the distance. There's somebody out there fishing right now. Lake is calm as can be. Again, we are looking west as we pan around. So, let's go back to the dock. Sorry. You can see the dock here. Let's walk down there. It's in complete disarray. But my guess, you'd have to verify this, the fact that it's already here and the pilings are in and whatnot is going to save you a lot of time. I can't say it's going to save you a lot of money, but it's going to save you a lot of time, or it should, because the main structure is already there, and you don't have, like in Lake Whatcom, you could literally wait years on the permitting process, and so much money, it's ridiculous. So just keep that in mind. This is in disarray. There's no way you are using this as is, but potential. It dips down right here. If you can just imagine this all manicured up, and there's that tree. Look at that. It blocks the entire house. It's a tree and a kind of a big, my arborists in the here will know what the heck I'm talking about, but I'm going to call it a big hedge. Point out again, we're on 0.6 of an acre. Low bank. And it's more than deferred maintenance. We're going to beat that dead horse, but look at this. Lake Samish is 810 acres. You can circumnavigate it. The park is just right up here, just around the corner. Maybe we'll take some B-roll shots of that. Again, we're looking up towards Chuckanut Mountain. And then you're looking down towards Blanchard. Now, we talked about the sound before. If you could hear it on the audio, the sound when we were up front was pretty significant when you pulled in. In the house, even with very little furniture, obviously nothing happening, no background noise, it's not even noticeable. Now, when we get outside here, do you notice it? Absolutely. Nothing, in my opinion, like it was just a minute ago when we were out front. So just the house and maybe this little bit of a drop in topography helps. So I know for some that'll be a little bit of a distraction. Totally get that. But all of these homes on the east side have that, with I-5 right behind them. So I'm going to interrupt my own video because this setting is pretty awesome. So it's a great time to do it, right? So my name's Sean Hackney, Next Home Northwest Living. Been in Bellingham and Whatcom County for 35, 36 years, and in real estate for over 23 of those years. So I know the area in and out and absolutely love it up here. So if you're interested in this property or any other property and you want additional information, I know it's kind of goofy and kind of weird maybe to reach out to somebody you just met on YouTube, but feel free to do so. It happens all the time, and I can get you a private showing on this home or any others or any additional information. But now let's head back into the tour, because I promised you one last surprise. This house reminds me so much. One of the people that I follow on YouTube that you should as well. If you aren't already, her name's Jenna Phipps. She's just north across the border. Her and her boyfriend Nick have been, over the course of probably coming up on about 2 years, they bought a home that this home actually reminds me of. Theirs was in much more disarray, and not even close to this one. But to see what they have done, they've ventured off here in the last couple of years of doing, I would say, about 95% of the work themselves, and the remodel, the tear down, the remodel, and keeping the footprint. Because the thing is, I mean, you have to look at county and city codes and everything, depending on areas. You don't always want to tear down a house because you may never get it this close to the water again. And it might be worse to tear it down than it is just to rebuild. But those are discussions you need to have with your realtor. Those are discussions that you need to have with the city and the county, as well as your contractor. But if you get a chance, Jenna Phipps and Nick, follow them, research, or I'll put a link down below as well. And you can see their transformation. I am a fan of taking homes like this and bringing them back to life. I know there's a lot of work here, but this is a pretty special. It's an incredible setting, but it's also, there's just something about this is a special home. I don't know the background, I don't know the history, but there's something pretty amazing about this, and hopefully somebody out here that's watching this is going to see the vision as well. But hey, wait a second. I promised you one last surprise. We're going to take you there, but on the way there, I want to take a peek at the garage because I failed to show that. So let's go there first. So the garage, we're here at the front entry again. The garage door is right here next to it. Massive, massive garage. 3 cars plus. You can see that. I mean, it's big enough. They've got a boat here. Actually, 4 bay. Because you've got this little guy more for a boat, so it's not a huge one. Workspace area, looking back across, huge shop area. Okay, are you guys ready for the last surprise? Here we go. In today's day and age now, there's maybe a little personal bias. I grew up in an 80s home, so much of this speaks to me. We had this little feature in our home as well. It unfortunately did not get used like you would think. So there's that bathroom. Again, kind of orient ourselves to kitchen. Didn't get used like it should have, because now I spent a great deal of money bringing one of these into my own home, and it's not as cool as this. But take a peek. We got our own sauna. There we go. And check this out. They built it in. So they've got a little bench area. They've got a shower afterwards with its own front. I can get look at this guy. Hi, buddy. I promise, if you like spiders, I'll get them included in the purchase. If you don't like spiders, we'll get them removed nicely, return them back to nature. Anyway, into the sauna. It's great. It's a double. I don't have a light going on in here, but it's a traditional type sauna, not your infrared. So you kind of got your little bucket right here and a spoon. Got your rocks. You could easily, nobody ever does this, you could lay down 2 people on the upper and lower. If you were all seated across, I mean, shoot, you could fit 4 or 5 people in there. I don't see that probably happening. Let's just be real. But it's big. Big sauna. And again, you pop out, you've got a bench, you've got your towel rack, and then you can rinse off immediately, which is important, and that they're doing all this research. The traditional saunas both have incredible health benefits. I'm going on a bias because I have gone down this rabbit hole. But the traditional sauna has a ton of research, and the health benefits are incredible. Like I said, I wish I would have known that growing up, and I would have taken more advantage. But that is your last surprise. Okay, you guys, I am interested. What are your thoughts, your comments? Let me know. Am I off my rocker for thinking the potential here is stinking amazing? Listed at 1.2 million. What do you think? Sean Hackney, Next Home Northwest Living. Thanks again for joining me on another Bellingham and Whatcom County home tour. Until next week, stay tuned. Feel free to pass this along. And again, if you're interested in this home, any other home, please feel free to reach out. I'll get you the information if you like a private tour as well. But until then, have a great week and cheers.